Hey everyone, welcome back to my workbench. Sorry, it's been a while. Hardest part's been actually getting down here to work on work on anything, even my own projects. So we're back with the Nomad, and the biggest challenge has been trying to reassemble at this point. Um, so there is enough room here for the. There's a little hesitant to pull this up. But anyway, there's the switch is installed here, and this is the 12 volt buck converter here. The challenge I'm running into now is how to route all of the wires. I had to disconnect two wires here. I'm going to reconnect them in a minute. But the challenge is routing everything back because the Nomad was designed with very little flex space left over in terms of adding new hardware to it. I mean, it's not like an Atari Lynx, which has these big hand grips on it, and there's a lot of air inside. Like even like the Lynx 2, it's just a single board, so there's a ton of room to add extra in there. But the Nomad is just a very tightly. It's got two separate boards, and it's very tightly packed in here. So my challenge now is routing everything so nothing gets pinched when I put it all back together again. I gotta connect this ribbon cable up, of course that's no big deal, but trying to like sandwich it all back into place without pinching anything and making sure when the push button connect pads go back in here, they're not being interfered with. So I'm gonna have to like tack all this up with Kapton tape. I'm going to have to shorten some of these wires up, I think, and Kapton these down. And then there's the joystick cable, which is a 9-pin ribbon cable here. That one needs to be neatened up and tightened down first, and then I can plop everything back down on it. So a little bit of a challenge because it was never really meant to be used, to be modded all that much, because they Sega really jammed 10 pounds in the 5-pound bag, let's just say that. So I'm working on that now and hopefully get this all buttoned up tonight. Knock on wood, no guarantees, and then I'll turns out I did try it with a different game. It looks like it's something to do with this game. I tried it with just a Sonic. I don't have it plugged in right now, and I didn't see the same color shifting issue, so must be the game. Very strange. But anyway, not worried about that. And with the 12 volt Reliance run off to, I haven't seen any screen glitches. So I'll test it out one more time, of course, once it's all put back together again. And that's coming up real soon. So we'll see. And it's coming along. It's just really hard to basically have to grab some tape and make sure nothing moves around in here. That's turned out to be a bigger headache than I expected. The power button for the screen actually turned out really nicely here. So that looks nice and official, doesn't it? So that turned out nice. And of course the cartridge door's there, and I made sure there's no wires running through the cartridge area because that would be real bad. Still have the screen protector on here. I take this off at the very last second when I mount it in place, so least chance of getting my yucky fingers on there. But yeah, I did end up having to cut out a little bit of the sheet metal around down here where the controller port's at. So I had to cut some sheet metal out there, but I just used a pair of tin snips, literally tin snips. Where's my tin snips? Used the tin snips to cut out the metal there. So that's all cleaned up. But yeah, now it's just trying to tack everything down and get this little sucker going. So as long as I can get some time down here in the workshop, my wife's been having stuff, my kid's back in school a couple days a week. Oh well. So I'm going to keep working on this, and I'll get it back together. And hopefully next video you'll see it all closed up. And then I'll get to knock out that CDX, which is sitting about 3 feet to my left here, and do the adjustments on there. So I wanted to get this all done with and then finish off the CDX. And that's my last of the outside projects and then I'm going to switch to my own personal projects. I have a portable console I'm working on right now with a 7-inch screen on it, so it's kind of like a Nintendo Switch, except it's plays retro games. That one's coming along. I haven't had a chance to work on that in a long time. And then I have I redo a Tiger Gamecom, which is uh, put a retro system. I've done it once before, but I wanted to try a different tack this time for it. So that's the next thing that's after that. And then I had a request from Russia about how to repair a Gamecom screen, and I've never seen anyone do it. So I'm gonna figure out how the heck to fix that screen. Because the problem with the Gamecom, the Tiger Gamecom, is there's a problem with the lines go out quite often, and what happens is the most console makers use what's known as a hotbar process, where it's a piece of flex cable like this, and it's pressed down, and it's a high temperature plastic, so they reflow the solder, and it makes what's called a hot bar. And the old Game Boys, the original Game Boys, you'll see lines out on the screen. All you gotta do is take your soldering iron and just run it over. You can touch that cable directly with the soldering iron, and it'll reflow the solder, and your lines will come back. You can even do it while it's on. You can work on the contacts. Problem with the Gamecom, they didn't use that. They just used a cold bar, which is the contact to contact with conductive epoxy. And the problem is you can't reflow that. If you heat it up, this stuff doesn't melt. Like if I went to reheat this would just catch on fire. This wasn't meant for it. It's not a Gamecom, of course, but this is only meant for ADC. I mean, it's not meant for, I mean, this, like a soldering iron, you run at 650, so you end up just melting it. So it's not 650C, it's 650F, which is about 375C, somewhere in there. But yeah, that's the problem we run into with it. So yeah, so I'm gonna get back to, where's the hell is my Kapton tape? Oh, there it is. I'll start taping stuff down. I use this stuff called Kapton tape. It's like brown. You've probably seen it before. And where the hell is my Kapton tape? Oh dear, rolled away. I'll have to find it. But as soon as I get that, I'm gonna start taping it down and finish putting the sucker back together. There's still one more piece for this screen here that clicks into place, and then that top screen assembly locks into the top housing of it. So soon, very soon, I gotta do a little soldering, extend some wires, tape stuff down, and move on from there. So just want to do an update, and hopefully I can keep working on this tonight. Otherwise, it might be another day or two, and I'll finish this off, and then it's off to the CDX, and then to my own other fun projects. So everyone, thank you for watching.